We are back, and right now we're going to be speaking with Park City Police Chief Wade Carpenter. Chief Carpenter, thanks for joining us on the show.
Good morning. How are you?
We are doing well. Wanted to ask you many things, but let's start with how are you feeling? You're recently diagnosed with COVID-19. How are you?
I'm doing well. Back at it, back at work, and feeling good again.
That is good to hear. Really am thankful that you're doing well. Well, I wanted to ask you about the unprecedented violence and unrest that has been happening in Utah and across the country over the past week. How is the Park City Police Department doing?
You know, we're doing well. The officers, anytime you have a situation like what happened in Minneapolis and with George Floyd, affects law enforcement. We all suffer because the bad actions of others. There's no question about it. Law enforcement is viewed in this nation, unfortunately, as a collective group. And so when something like that happens, it absolutely devastates law enforcement. And I can tell you, I've spoken to chiefs and officers throughout the country since this event. I've yet to find one officer that isn't absolutely outraged at what happened with George Floyd.
And as a result of these past events, is the Park City Police Department doing anything differently?
You know, we have always been kind of ahead on the fact that all of our officers have been through implicit bias training. We continually are training our officers with an expectation of that they're all trained with defensive tactics. You know, when I was looking at the video with George Floyd, it doesn't take long to realize that the actions of the officers were absolutely inappropriate. The goal, obviously, is to apply the least amount of force necessary to safely take a violator into custody, and that clearly didn't happen here. What occurred in this case was the arresting officer knelt on the individual's neck for 8 minutes, as you know, and clearly that has never been something that has been taught to officers, and officers recognize that that's absolutely inappropriate. Additionally, we've always trained our officers of the expectation of the community, and I think this comes from the chief law enforcement official in an agency to set the standard right from the get-go and let them know that if behavior is not acceptable, they'll be terminated or charged criminally if that's the case.
There was a large protest in downtown Salt Lake City on Saturday evening. Did the Park City Police Department help with police efforts in downtown?
Yeah, we have been down there for the last couple of days. We returned. We got an all-call for help from Salt Lake City Police Department on Saturday evening. We scheduled officers to go down and assist. I went down myself with Lieutenant Baile Latafia, and we brought a component of officers with us. We also Sheriff Martinez provided officers and deputies, as well as Wasatch County Sheriff Jared Rigby and Chief Dave Booth from Heber City. So we took a large contingent with us and assisted them in those efforts.
Now, there was a protest here in Park City yesterday. From your perspective and the perspective of the police force here in Park City, how did that go?
You know, it went well. We were able to work with the young people in our community that organized that event, and they reached out to us. We worked with Mary Krista, who helped kind of facilitate communication with the students to make sure that we were all on the same page, and it was very effective. We had good communication early on. I had the opportunity to walk them through what occurred on what was planned to be a peaceful protest in Salt Lake, and unfortunately that was hijacked by a few groups. And we talked to them. I think it's my job as the police chief to educate them. You know, the importance, obviously, of peaceful First Amendment protests are absolutely vital, and people have a right and a responsibility to be involved in these. But at the same time, as a chief, I need to explain to them the unintended consequences of who shows up to the party and what that looks like and what can happen if you have those that have a nefarious mindset that are trying to disrupt our communities or trying to disrupt the relationships between the communities the police serve, and that's kind of what happened here the other night. So ours went very well. I attended with Sheriff Martinez. I know our mayor and county council and city council. Many of them were there attending as well, and it went pretty much seamlessly.
And anything else you'd like the community to know before I let you go, especially during these difficult times?
You know, it's been interesting. I was going through the watch log, and we are absolutely getting nailed on vehicle burglaries and vehicle thefts. We recovered 2 stolen cars last night, and what's happening is I think it's because people are not going to work and they're leaving their keys in their car, they're leaving their belongings, their computers, their laptops in their car. We're having several smash and grabs, and these are crimes of opportunity. So we would ask people to be cognizant of their surroundings. Obviously cognizant of their surroundings right now with all the different issues going on. If they see something that doesn't look right, doesn't feel right, or they're concerned, please say something. Please contact our dispatch. Let them know and be aware. And I can just tell you that our community is a great community, and they're very cognizant of what's going on throughout the nation. And I just want to continue to remind them that if things don't look right, please let us know, and we'll hop on it as quickly as we can.
Well, thank you very much, Chief Wade Carpenter, for joining us on the show this morning. You can find more information about the Park City Police Department at parkcity.org. Again, we appreciate Chief Carpenter for taking the time to talk with us this morning. Right after this break, we'll be talking with Park City High School Principal Roger Arbabi. Also, later on in this week during this show, we'll be speaking with students who organized the protest yesterday, Youth Against Police Brutality. We'll be back right after this quick break.